You ever notice how we spend our time like it's loose change? Scrolling, waiting, filling the gaps with noise. But time isn't change. It's currency, the kind you never get back. So when I say spend time like this, I don't mean perfectly. I don't mean packed with productivity or stacked with checklists. I mean deliberately. Sit with the people who make you laugh until your ribs hurt. Call the friend you've been meaning to. Call for 6 months. Take a walk with no headphones. Just you. Just the air. Because here's the truth your calendar doesn't remember. Your to-do list doesn't care. But your people do. And you will. So spend time like this not as if you have endless amounts, but as if you know it matters, because it does. Time is currency, not spare change. That's something most of us know deep down, but we don't always live like it. We wake up and move through our days as if there's an endless supply waiting for us tomorrow. We talk about wasting time, killing time, passing time, like it's something small, like coins rattling around in our pockets. Easy to lose, easy to ignore. But that's the mistake. Time is not pocket change. It's not something you casually toss into a tip jar without thinking. It's the most valuable currency you have, and it comes with one rule: you don't get to earn it back once it's spent. Think about the way you treat money. Most people know the value of a dollar. They count it, budget it, plan it, save it, even fight for it. And yet with time, something far more limited, we act like there's always more. We don't track it. We don't protect it. We spend it on things that don't matter, as if it were bottomless. If money runs out, you can find a way to make more. Time doesn't work that way. Once it's gone, it's gone. The seconds you just used are already in the past, sealed away, untouchable. That's what makes it so expensive. There's also the illusion that small amounts don't matter. With spare change, you might toss coins into a drawer and forget about them. You figure it's only a few cents. But if you do that with your time, 5 minutes scrolling here, 20 minutes sitting in a meeting that goes nowhere, an hour binging a show you don't even like, it adds up. Just like coins in a jar can grow into real money, wasted minutes grow into hours, wasted hours into days. Before you know it, you've spent more than you meant to, and you don't even remember what you bought with it. And here's the part most people miss. The way you spend your time tells the truth about what you value. You can say family comes first, but if your time never goes to them, it doesn't. You can say your health matters, but if you never make space to care for it, it doesn't. Time is the great revealer. It shows what you're really committed to, not what you wish you were. It's not about what you say is important, it's about where your hours go. This is why seeing time as currency changes things. It forces you to ask questions you normally avoid. Would you pay actual money for another hour in a meaningless argument? Would you pull out your wallet for another night wasted on stress you can't control? Probably not. So why pay with time? Why hand over the one thing you can't refund? That shift in perspective is what separates those who look back with regret from those who look back with gratitude. And if we're honest, the world makes it easy to forget this. We live in a culture designed to spend our time for us. Notifications, ads, endless options, all of it pulling at the edges of our focus, trying to convince us that our minutes don't matter. But if you start treating time like the currency it is, you begin to notice the cost. You begin to realize that every yes to one thing is a no to something else. Every minute spent somewhere is a minute taken from somewhere else. That trade-off is unavoidable. The only choice you have is whether the trade is worth it. That's the hard truth. Time doesn't feel like money until you start running out of it. It doesn't feel like it matters until suddenly you look up and realize the season of life you thought would last forever has already passed. Kids grow up. Opportunities close. People move on. You can't go back and pay for those moments later. You either spend wisely while you have it, or you accept that it's gone. And most people don't realize the weight of that until it's too late. Spend it deliberately, not accidentally. That's the difference between living with intention and drifting through your days without noticing where they went. Most people don't wake up and say, I want to waste today. Yet that's exactly what happens when time is spent without thought. When hours slip into habits that don't serve us, when our energy gets poured into things that don't align with who we are or where we want to go. Deliberate spending means choosing with awareness. Accidental spending means letting life choose for you. Think about how easily time can disappear. You sit down to check a message, and 40 minutes later you're lost in a rabbit hole of scrolling. You agree to a task you didn't want to do, and suddenly your evening is gone. You say, yes, because it's easier than saying no. But that yes cost you the hours you could have used for something meaningful. Time has a way of slipping through cracks if you don't decide how to use it. That's what happens when you live on autopilot. Your days fill themselves not with what matters, but with whatever shows up. Deliberate use of time is different. It's about pausing before you say yes. It's about asking yourself, does this deserve my hours? Does this align with my priorities? It's not about being busy, because busy is not the same as deliberate. You can fill a calendar with tasks, meetings, errands, and still feel empty because none of it was intentional. Being deliberate is less about filling every block of time and more about making sure the blocks you do fill are worth the exchange. Consider the people you spend time with. Accidental spending often means giving hours to whoever demands them loudest, whoever sends the notification, whoever makes the request. Deliberate spending means choosing who actually adds value to your life, who supports you, who energizes you. It means recognizing that your time is a gift, and not everyone should have access to it just because they ask. That doesn't mean being selfish. It means being selective. Because if you give your time to everything, you give it to nothing. The same applies to how you spend time alone. When you're deliberate, solitude becomes an investment. Reading, resting, reflecting, creating. When you're accidental, solitude becomes distraction, scrolling, numbing, drifting. The difference isn't in the number of hours you have. It's in the quality of the choice you make with those hours. One fills you up. The other empties you without you even noticing. There's also a rhythm to deliberate time. It recognizes seasons. Some days are about work, some about rest, some about connection, some about learning. Being deliberate doesn't mean scheduling every second. It means honoring what each moment calls for. It means not letting urgency trick you into thinking everything must happen now. It's about asking, what matters most today? And allowing that answer to guide how you spend your hours. Accidental spending ignores seasons. It treats every moment as the same. Every demand is equal. Every distraction is worthy. The danger with accidental spending is that it feels harmless. A little wasted here, a little wasted there. But small accidents accumulate. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months, and one day you look back and wonder where the time went. That question only comes up when you weren't deliberate, when you didn't choose but let life choose for you. People rarely regret time they spent with intention, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. Regret comes from realizing you didn't make the choice at all. To spend deliberately requires discipline, but it's not the rigid kind. It's not about controlling everything. It's about awareness, about owning your choices instead of letting them own you. It's about saying yes with conviction and no without guilt. It's about recognizing that your hours are finite and treating them as such. It's about refusing to let convenience or noise make the decision for you. When you spend time deliberately, you know where your day went. You can point to it and say, that mattered. That was worth it. Even in rest, even in play, even in small moments that seem insignificant. If you chose them, they carry meaning. Accidental spending, on the other hand, leaves you empty-handed, wondering what you actually gained from the hours you can't get back. Invest in people and moments, not just tasks. That's where the real return on time shows up. Tasks will always be there. Emails to answer, deadlines to meet, errands to run. But they don't fill the deeper spaces of your life. They don't create the memories you'll hold on to years from now. When you think back, it's not the report you finished on time or the laundry you folded at midnight that you'll remember. It's the dinner where everyone laughed until they couldn't breathe. It's the quiet walk when someone trusted you with their story. It's the small moment that seemed ordinary then but becomes extraordinary in hindsight. The pull toward tasks is strong because they're visible. They can be checked off, measured, completed. There's a sense of control in finishing them, and that can feel satisfying, but the satisfaction is short-lived. You finish one task, another one shows up. It's an endless cycle. People and moments don't work like that. They aren't boxes to tick. They're investments that grow over time. A conversation today becomes trust tomorrow. A shared laugh becomes a bond. A few minutes of presence becomes a memory that someone else holds onto for the rest of their life. Investing in people requires choosing connection over convenience. It's easy to be around people physically while your mind is somewhere else. Thinking about what's next, scrolling on a phone, mentally working through a list. But that's not presence. True investment means setting the list aside even for a few minutes and giving someone your full attention. It means recognizing that the moment in front of you might matter more than the plan you thought was important. The same goes for moments with yourself. Sometimes the investment is not about other people, but about slowing down enough to notice where you are. Sitting on a porch and watching the sky change color. Taking a deep breath before you rush to the next obligation. Savoring a meal instead of swallowing it while you work. Those moments don't show up on a productivity chart, but they shape the texture of your life. They're the evidence that you were here, not just running through tasks, but actually living inside your own story. Tasks, by their nature, will consume whatever time you give them. They expand, they multiply, they call for attention. People in moments won't always demand your time in the same way. They're quieter, they wait. But if you neglect them long enough, they fade. The friend stops calling, the child stops asking, the opportunity for connection slips away, and when you finally look up from your tasks, the moment is gone. That's the risk of treating people like they can wait while tasks come first. Investing in people and moments doesn't mean ignoring responsibility. The tasks still need to be done. Bills still need to be paid. Work still matters, but balance matters too. You don't remember the nights you stayed late at the office to clear your inbox. You remember the nights you spent with the people you love, or the mornings you took time for yourself before the world rushed in. Those are the deposits that make your life feel rich. Tasks may provide order, but people and moments provide meaning. There's also a multiplying effect when you invest in people. The encouragement you give someone might ripple into their decisions, their relationships, their confidence. A small kindness may live on long after the moment has passed. Tasks rarely ripple outward in the same way. Their impact ends when they're done. But investment in people continues to grow, shaping not only your life but theirs. Even small moments carry weight when they're chosen deliberately. A 5-minute conversation instead of a quick wave. A pause to listen instead of rushing past. A text to check in when you could have said nothing. Those are minor investments in the moment, but they build compound interest in relationships. They tell people they matter, and that message lasts longer than the time it took to send it. The truth is, tasks will always refill themselves. No matter how many you finish, there will always be more waiting. But the people and the moments, they don't wait forever. They pass by if you don't catch them. They're finite in a way tasks never are. And that's why investing in them brings the greater return. Life like time matters, because it does. Most of us live as if there's always more time waiting just around the corner, as if tomorrow will always be available to make up for what we neglected today. We put off the phone call, the trip, the apology, the dream, because tomorrow feels guaranteed. But it's not. Time isn't endless, and pretending it is doesn't change the reality. Living like time matters is about remembering that each day has weight, each choice carries importance. Each moment is worth noticing. It's not about fear of running out, it's about respect for what you've been given. Think about how easy it is to drift into living like time doesn't matter. You wake up, go through the motions, repeat the cycle, and before long, weeks blur together. Days feel disposable, as if they're just practice rounds leading up to the real. Life you imagine is coming later. But this is it. Life doesn't start after the promotion, after the move, after the kids are grown. Life is happening right now, in the middle of ordinary mornings and quiet evenings. Living like time matters means treating today as part of the story, not just a rehearsal for tomorrow. One of the most powerful shifts happens when you realize that time, not money, is your most valuable asset. You can always work to make more money, but you can't buy more hours. That truth alone should make us pause. How often do we trade hours of our life for things that don't actually matter? We overcommit, we say yes to things we don't believe in, we pour time into comparisons and distractions, and then we wonder why life feels empty. When you remember that time matters, you begin to weigh those trades more carefully. You start to ask, is this worth the cost of my life's currency? Living like time matters also changes the way you see relationships. It makes you realize that people aren't permanent fixtures in your story. They're here for a season, and seasons change. That doesn't mean you live in fear of losing them, but it does mean you cherish them while they're here. You hug a little tighter, listen a little longer, speak a little kinder, because you understand that moments with people are finite. Time makes them precious. It also affects how you see opportunities. When you believe time is endless, opportunities feel endless too. You think you can wait, that you'll have another chance later. But when you live like time matters, you recognize the importance of stepping forward now, of not postponing action out of fear or hesitation. You write the book, start the business, take the trip, learn the skill. Not recklessly, but with the awareness that waiting doesn't guarantee a better moment. It often guarantees no moment at all. There's a quiet dignity in living this way. It doesn't mean rushing through life or trying to cram every hour with achievement. It means honoring your time enough to live it fully. Sometimes that looks like productivity, but sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like ambition, but sometimes it looks like stillness. The common thread is awareness, the refusal to treat your hours as disposable. Living like time matters also reshapes the way you see setbacks. When you know your time is finite, you don't want to waste it dwelling on what went wrong. You still feel disappointment, but you don't camp out in it. You learn, you adjust, and you keep moving, because staying stuck is too expensive. Every moment spent replaying the past is a moment you're not living in the present. The beauty of this mindset is that it gives meaning to even the smallest parts of your day. A shared meal, a deep breath, a conversation, a walk outside. None of it feels trivial when you remember time matters. Ordinary moments transform into significant ones because you see them for what they are, pieces of your limited, irreplaceable life. When you live like that, you stop waiting for big events to make life meaningful, and you start finding meaning in the everyday. And the truth is, when you treat time as if it matters, you start to matter more to yourself. You start protecting your priorities, honoring your energy, and shaping your life around what you value most. That's not selfish, it's stewardship. It's recognizing that your hours are sacred and choosing to live them in a way that reflects what's truly important.